When I first started with St. Baldrick's, I never imagined that, raising all this money and shaving my head every year would actually benefit me in the future as a cancer patient. Before I got cancer, St. Baldrick's had already seemed like such a noble organization. So at that point, I just figured, why not shave? And I started to try and raise money just because I connected with the event. I connected with St. Baldrick's. I liked what they were fighting for. And it seemed like a good way to give back. The week leading up to my diagnosis was kind of a weird week. My hip felt a little off. Throughout the week, the pain kept staying there. I tried rolling it out, doing everything, and then my mom made the decision to go to Children's Hospital Los Angeles.
It was sort of getting worse, but we didn't really think anything of it, and then he said he had been up all night with a fever and that he had just vomited a few times, and the pediatrician said, why don't you just go into an ER and just get him checked out. It occurred to me, maybe, why don't we go to Children's Hospital? There was a nurse there, and she said, the doctor needs to speak with you, and a social worker. And they took me out of the room, and they took me to another room, and they had me sit down, and they told me, this is leukemia, and it's an emergency. So unexpected, so out of left field. I was concerned that he was sick, but I really had no idea that it could be something as serious as that. But I knew I had to tell Sam, and the biggest thing I wanted to convey to him was he was going to be fine. He was going to be absolutely fine. And by the way, I really believed that. So I knew he was going to be okay, and I just wanted him to know that.
I think I just kind of shut down. I didn't really realize what was happening or the severity of what was happening. I kind of just heard cancer and was like, okay, what are we gonna do now? That's unfortunate.
We met with an oncologist as soon as we got to the 4th floor, and he said, we know exactly how to treat this. We have a wonderful treatment. He explained at that point that it was a study that was funded by St. Baldrick's.
My treatment plan was a month on, a month off of arsenic injections. I would get them 5 days a week over 2 hours. And I always thought it was funny because arsenic I've only ever really known as poison in movies. Throughout treatment, it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. About a week in, another thing went wrong. I had a bleed in my spinal cord. So it was inside the spine. It was pushing on my spinal cord. So from my chest down was completely numb, completely paralyzed, couldn't feel anything.
Because he was so sick and because he had no clotting ability, basically no platelets at all, they wouldn't be able to do any surgery, and so he was likely to never walk again. The worst part was really seeing how demoralized he became after the paralysis. Once he came to understand I might not walk again, he really fell into a depression.
Throughout my 10 months of treatment, it was definitely a battle between, oh, this is not good, I'm in a bad place, what am I gonna do, freaking out, and also just, there's nothing I can do except for keep trying. Mentally it's always a struggle, and there's never gonna be someone who survives cancer who says, oh yeah, it was a breeze. I've always wanted to be a pilot, and you don't see pilots in wheelchairs very often. My mindset shifted when my sister came in, and I started thinking about, well, how am I gonna be a pilot if I can't walk? It was at that moment, I think, when I kind of shifted to start thinking about all these things. Like, I want to walk across the stage at graduation, I want to be a pilot, I want to play music again. And so the first time I saw her, I just, broke down, I started crying, and I don't know, just something switched, a switch flipped in my brain. And about a month later, I wiggled my toe for the first time.
He says that was really a moment for him where he felt like, I've got to get better, I've got to do everything I can to get better and be able to walk again and live my life.
So my last treatment was on my 18th birthday, and I thought it would just be like another day. They had me ring the bell, and I was hugging everybody at the hospital, and it was really, really special, even though I was really kind of feeling like, okay, but did that just really happen? It was kind of like, at the beginning I was shocked to hear I had it, and at the end I was shocked to hear I didn't. It went from such a dire situation so quickly to such a happy one.
When he left the hospital, actually one of the first things we did, there was a shaving event through his Civil Air Patrol group. I mean, it was only a few days maybe after he'd been discharged. He was still in a wheelchair. And we went and he shaved again. And it was a really poignant moment.
I don't think there's a bigger way to change your life around than getting cancer and becoming paralyzed. Before I had cancer, I really didn't play as much music. And then I, got really interested in it, and I got into college as a music performance major. Like I said, I want to be a pilot, so right now I'm just enjoying life as a college student. And it feels great. It feels great to just be living a normal college life, which for a long time I didn't think I would. I still walk a little slow, but I don't think that's an issue, so I couldn't be happier.
I can't thank St. Baldrick's enough for the work that it does in funding cancer research for children's cancers. Sam is one of the lucky ones. We're one of the lucky families being connected with this organization. You hear a lot of stories of kids who aren't so lucky, and it's just so massively important what St. Baldrick's does, and it's such important work. So thank you so much for funding this very, very important work to combat childhood cancer and to save kids from this deadly disease.
Anybody who's ever donated to St. Baldrick's, the donors, our sponsors, everybody, not only did you help me and put me in the place I am today, but you continue to do that every day. I mean, I'm just one example of the many, 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 many different cases that St. Baldrick's is working on and helping. The world would definitely be a different place for me and my family without St. Baldrick's, so thank you for that.